What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He just had a little bit of vodka, and that's not good. So the
Can't move down my
ASPCA is
levels
going to come
very
after
soon.
me. All right. So getting back to common ground with Jimmy P. Like I said, in today's society, people aren't talking to each other. They're fighting. They're fighting over politicians, politics. You know, whether they like Trump, they don't like Trump, Biden, whatever. And they're not. The 30, 40 years, people are fighting, not talking, banning each other with social media. Everything. We're going to get to everything over the shows that go on. Hopefully, I'll have Angelo and Jeanette and Penelope over here, who's drunk now because she had a little alcohol, on the show in the future. And tonight we're going to speak about immigration. As Jeanette can come here, she's 4 years old from the Dominican Republic, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so she came from the Dominican Republic, and we're going to go over immigration, what it means to come from there, she got here, and Angelo got his little book of facts. And I'm basically probably not going to have much to say.
I'm the new breed of fact checker.
He's
just
the
so
new
you know.
breed of fact checker, so this sort of be interesting. But the whole thing is, no matter how heated it gets, how drunk Penelope is now, whatever we do, at the end of the show, we're all going to leave friends, and that's our goal: is to show people in America and around the globe that if they can, we need to hear each other out. Whether we think they're right, they're wrong, we're wrong. We need to hear each other's side to understand. And the only way we can come together is by understanding. We don't necessarily have to agree. And you're never going to hear me say we can agree to disagree, because that phrase just annoys the shit out of me. Excuse the language. It's just an annoying phrase. No, we don't have to agree to disagree. I don't agree. But we don't have to fight. You can argue, but you don't have to fight. And let's all stay friends.
Right.
All right, once again, Angelo Mackie and Jeanette Senna. Am I saying it correct? Senna. And we're going to talk about immigration. So where do you want to start off? And how you want to give us a little background on how you came about? You came from Santo Domingo. What do you call it? Dominican Republic
I
or
came
Santo
from the
Domingo?
Dominican Republic. I'm not from Santo Domingo. I'm
Okay,
from
that's the
Santiago,
capital, right?
the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
Get the city correct.
All right, here goes. I'm
She
getting
has her own
see,
racism
I'm getting
there.
schooled already, and this is okay. I need the education. And Penelope, I guess we'll leave you there. A little
Penelope's
bit out-
fine. Penelope's
yeah, yeah, so we can watch it from the outside.
Yeah.
So I came here legally. We followed
came
the
here
process-
legally?
Yes, we came. My sisters and I came here legally. My mom first came here. She started working, and that she came to the country first. Left us as little girls. I was 6 months old when my mom came here, and she started working in factories, so on and so forth.
Right.
To build, she had to show the government that she's working and that she was not going to come here and depend on the government
Right.
to maintain us.
I like the way you said that. Okay.
And she followed the process. She did the paperwork to have my sisters and I come over here to the United
And how many
States.
sisters you have?
We are a total of 4.
4 girls, any no boys.
No boys. So it was myself and my older sister and my younger sister. My baby sister was born here.
Okay.
So she wasn't part of the mix at that time.
And at the time, did you come with your father, or was your father out of the
My
picture?
father his father asked for him to come here.
Okay.
So he was in a separate case.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
it's
But your mother had to do this on her own.
my mom had to do this on her own. Of course, my father was helping her, even though
Okay.
he was in the Dominican Republic. My parents have been married for over 44 years right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's another topic we'll get onto, how the government would, if they'll help you, as long as you're not married, which to me makes no sense. Try to keep a family unit. That's another subject.
That's
Okay.
another
There are ways to get into. There are 10 necessary steps to become a United States citizen.
Okay, so let's hear Jen, and then we're gonna
Right,
let you go.
right.
So Jeanette. Okay, Jeanette. And all right, so let's continue. So
And
you
the
came here-
reason my mom at
Right.
that time, in that decade, couldn't sponsor my father is because she had to make a certain income. So she was only able to sponsor us. So that's
Okay.
why my grandfather was the one that had to sponsor
All right,
my father.
Okay. Okay, so now, you said you were 4, you had one older sister, one younger sister, and the baby was born when you came there. Okay, so now that whole process, your mom had to get a lawyer
Yes.
to do the whole, so this wasn't free, it didn't cost nothing, you didn't
It
get,
cost a lot of money.
okay, it cost a lot, you didn't get, and I am not putting down what's going on with immigration today, but you didn't get to go stay in a hotel, you weren't promised everything free, you had to do this.
No.
You had
I
to pay your own way here, no.
I had to pay my parents had to pay their way here. I had to pay to become a citizen.
And also, did they have to maintain a
Yes.
certain level of income in order to,
Yes.
to get the benefits of being in the
Yes.
country, and how long did it take you to become a citizen?
Well, my parents became citizens when I was younger, so I
Right.
automatically became a U.S. citizen because both of my parents were citizens before I turned the age of 13.
Oh, okay, that's good.
But
Then-
you
you-
still
what
have
about
to,
your older
but you
sister?
still have to pay for it. You still
Oh,
have
you
to
still
pay
have to
to
pay.
get. Yes, you still have
Do
to
you
pay.
still have to take that test and all of that? Or?
Not
They did though,
Not
right?
they did. I did not because
Okay.
I automatically become a citizen because my parents were 13. Well, because I was.
So you
13.
didn't have to take an ethics or history course to become a United States citizen.
No,
Okay.
Okay, so now,
because I was 13
Because you were already and you were in school.
and I was in school.
That's right.
all right, so now that we're on the topic of immigration, let's get a little bit more short. Is there anything you want to bring in now, or you want me to just go into it? What's going on?
Well, basically, I'm Italian American. Both sets of grandparents came here from Italy,
Right.
Through Ellis Island. They were sent through the system. They did everything they were supposed to do. Their parents were here first, and their brothers came first
Right.
to set them up here.
Okay.
And that's how the families came here. So I am considered second, third generation.
Right.
And it bothers me today when I see what's going on down the border and the immigration process. And this has nothing to do with Jeanette's story at all, because that's a completely legal situation.
Right.
But what's going on and what's happening down there is the opposite of what immigration in this country is about. Now, there are 10 necessary steps. And I'm not saying every case is the same. And every case will follow these steps. But these are 10 steps to becoming a U.S. citizen. One, you have to check your eligibility. Do you have a green card? Now, the green card, you have to have it for at least 5 years to become a citizen.
Right.
So now you're letting people in. Just come in, man. Come in El Paso or the valley
Rio
down
Grande
there, the Rio
Valley.
Grande Valley, and you're walking through. No one's got a green card. Well, come on in.
And what are the other qualifications?
Okay,
Let's run them
so,
down, 'cause then I got some questions. too.
There is a moral character check. There is a knowledge of U.S. and U.S. civics. There is an attachment. There has to be some attachment. These are necessary steps. The person coming in has to have some attachment to the U.S. as to why they want to become
Like-
a U.S. citizen. Much like Jeanette, whose family had an attachment to come here.
Yeah, her mother
to
and
come
father
here
were
to
here.
be to
And the
to better
you said your
themselves.
grandfather sponsored your father. So you
Right.
actually, you had to go through a process.
It
Yeah.
is a process, but with Angelo's point, yes, it sounds very simple on paper.
Okay.
This process, when you do apply, in some cases, in some scenarios, it takes more than 10 years. And when you want to flee a government, a country where there's no progress and you want to move someplace else, just like some people will move to a different state for a better job.
Right.
They move to a different country for a better life.
Okay.
The process is a lengthy process.
Okay.
So
I
do you
know
think
people-
it should be?
I'm going
know-
to cut you off here for a second. As
Oh,
lengthy as
go
the
ahead.
as lengthy as the process can be, under the Green Card Act, there are certain amendments to it, and how you could get here legally, if you even have to flee, through family. There's a Family
Right.
Indoctrination Act. There's employment. There's special immigration. There's refugee or asylum status. There's human trafficking and crime victims and victims of abuse. There are
Yes.
also a ton of other ways to get here. In the case of you have to flee.
Right.
But in the case that
Legally.
you have to flee, in
Legally.
the case that you have to flee, however, like I said, on paper, it
It
looks
looks
very
good.
simple.
It's like communism. Great on paper.
So,
it doesn't work. though.
Again, on paper.
So our system doesn't really work, is what you're trying to say.
And now
it
you're
doesn't,
wrong.
and if it was to work, a lot of people will do the process legally.
Okay.
And in the end of the day, the United States gives money to so many countries. Why don't you have those people come in here legally
Oh, yeah, like-
and produce money for the country and spend money
In
in
the,
the
in
country?
the last, just for example, in the last stimulus check payout, I don't know how many million, so if I say 38 million people, oh, that's not what it was. Everybody relax. We're going to get all the numbers right all the time. They give a certain amount of money, several $1 billion,
Right.
to transgender studies in part of India. Why was that part of this bill? Like you said, take that money. We got a
Make
problem
this
at the
process-
border, and it's a big problem. And like you said, if you're fleeing the country,
Let's expedite this process, and the people that are going to be in this country are going to have the background checks, are going to come to this country to work.
But do you
which,
think that-
which,
Go ahead.
which at the same time, the illegal immigrants,
right?
not the majority, I don't know the statistics of it, that come to this country are working the farms,
Yes,
the
and
factories
you need them.
for $2 an hour. Find me an American that's gonna get a job for $2
No, and
an hour.
honestly, I don't think they should be getting paid $2 an hour. They should be getting paid more. They should be getting paid a lot more. My thing is, here's the problem with the whole border crisis, and this is where it goes back to Republican. Everyone hated Trump. He was building a wall. Oh, he's racist. He called the Mexicans rapists. He did not. I can go through all the facts of what happened. But here's my problem. Forget about Trump. Forget about Biden, who invited him in, and Kamala Harris, who wants nothing to do with it now, went to a part of the border that's not even in a problem. That's another story. Here's my problem. They're coming in at the border, and my heart goes out to these people. These aren't, 90% of them aren't bad people. But here's my thing that I have a big problem with. If you come, and our government did this, if you come, women and children will accept you. First of all, there's all these movements, women's movements, men's movements, gay movements, black movements, white movements. Men don't count anymore, granted. And there's a reason for it, and I understand it. Most of the men is where the problem comes, because they're the ones that will carry the drugs. And that stereotyping, no, it's a fucking reality. Excuse my language, I'm going to try not to curse anymore. But it's just a reality. And now they're coming over, and here's the thing. You have children, you have a 21-year-old son, you said, right?
23.
23. Let's say you got a 2-year-old baby. And now, how bad has it got to be in your country where you're going to send your kid on a 600-mile trek through a desert with a coyote, and it's not an animal, it's a cartel worker that's getting over here. I think it's something that 80% of the young girls get raped on the way here, and the babies, yesterday they had a baby, a 2-year-old baby abandoned. Oh, why? Because the border workers going
And
to
it's
pick
not
her
just
up.
that. You know the diseases that they catch along the way? They get fungus in their
So it's
toenails, their nails,
the
they
feet,
fall out.
So now you're putting them in a thing. Oh, Trump put them in cages. No, first of all, Trump didn't put them in cages. He goes, well, Obama did. Obama didn't put them in cages either. What are you supposed to do with them? When they're here, you got to do something. So the easy thing is what Trump did. Keep them in Mexico for now. And like you said, you're seeking asylum. It's the next country over. The problem is when you come from Guatemala, I forget what the next country over is. I don't know if it is Mexico or the Honduras. But now you're going from one bad country to another. So of course you're going to want to come to the United States. So asylum doesn't like you said, it looks good on paper, it's easy on paper. Doesn't really work. So the solution isn't by flooding the country, and they just seized the amount of fentanyl today, enough to kill this country 100 times over.
I'm going to interject. People mentioned the border, the Mexican border. Do you know how many people come in boats from Asia illegally?
Into California.
You just focus on the Latino community coming illegally from the border, but do you know how many people come over in boats?
They don't even come, they come in containers.
In containers?
All right, so
and 10% die.
they're coming in containers. They're coming in boats. They're coming over the border. They're coming into the states. We all know that. And how do you fix it? That's ultimately the question.
Okay.
So now we
Well,
have.
listen, I got a way to fix it. Okay.
We have our I don't even want to use the term vice president, but we're going to say commonly useless at this point. Wants to use the excuse of let's get to the root cause of why they're coming, which is why they're leaving, they're leaving because of they need asylum.
That she said it was street lights.
They were victimized. It was violence. All right, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so think of it as if a fire, something blew up, a machine blew up because of a pressure gauge.
Right.
All right. Now you have a problem. You got to put the fire out. So
You turn the pressure off.
you're not going to go and rebuild the engine while the fire is burning.
Right.
To put the fire out, you're going to put the fire out and then fix the root problem, which was the gauge.
I know exactly where
Put
you're
the
going with
fire
this.
out with this. Stop them from coming in. Finish the wall. Make it harder for them to come in. They're going to I think they're going to try to overturn Title 42. So
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
all right, which is sending them back.
Yeah.
So in April, 178,622 attempted to enter. Okay? 3% increase over March. May, 180,000 entered, a 1% increase over March. Both because of Title 42, 111,000 were returned back.
Right.
All right? That will cease to exist.
Well, and we have 180,000 that came in this month,
I know.
as of yesterday's day. Now, like you said, you want to think that do you have a way to fix that we're all going to get it right? What is your suggestion? Because I
My
have
suggestion
mine.
is make the process less costly and less. It's not even the
I
cost.
say make it free.
I wouldn't
That's okay.
say. I wouldn't say make it free.
Well,
I would say make it less costly. And why am I gonna sit for 10 years or 15 years to come over here?
okay, but then
It's
what about
time.
Angelo's pressure gauge? Let me explain his pressure gauge thing to you. Here's my solution. I have my goddaughter. My goddaughter's Rosemary. She married a nice American Lebanese man. His grandfather was 90-something. He just passed. Very nice man. I met him at their wedding 2 years ago. And he said, you know who the real heroes in America are? It's not the firemen, the cops, soldiers. It's those people trying to cross the border to give their families a better life. I said, you know what? Nice man. I said, I'm not going to disagree with you on this. I said, I don't consider them heroes. I don't consider firemen heroes. I consider soldiers heroes. But I don't consider firemen heroes. We're just morons that run in when someone's running out. But and the soldiers aren't too bright either. I'm just kidding. I love the American military.
Watch what you
They
say.
got the flag. That's my father's flag
what you say.
from the Korean War. It's just, this whole bravery word is misused. But I had 2 glasses on the table and a pitcher of water. I had I had them half full. And I called Papa. I said, Papa, let me just show you something. I sympathize with these people. And listen, our people came here too. Whether it's the right way or wrong, and I get your point. It's too long, why wait? Okay, here's the problem. It's just a simple problem, and I'm a math guy. Angela will tell you, I'm like a little bit of a baby calculator. I can shoot numbers out of my head like wildfire. It's just real simple. I took the 2 glasses of water, the pitcher of water. I said, this is immigrants. This is the United States. I said, these are more immigrants in the picture, right? And I took the picture, and I filled it up, the picture. I said, these are the immigrants that are here that we're going to make citizens. And I went, the glass was 3/4. I took the other glass. These are the immigrants coming out. And I poured the glass. And I kept pouring. It started going over the table. And the 90-year-old man goes, I see your point. We're full. We're full right now. I'm not saying don't take any more. And he says, wait, but there's plenty of room all over the United States. Granted, there's plenty of room. What are we going to put them in the fucking, excuse my language, you're going to put them in the trees? You need to, like Angela said, you got to fix the gauge first. So why don't we shut the borders? North, south, everywhere. Shut all the borders, close down. The people that are here, what do they call them, the dreamers? I'm all for the dreamers. This apartment here, it might not look like much. This whole thing was done to me by a friend of mine, a Mexican friend of mine. He came here the same way you did, the right way, but a couple of his workers, they came too, and I'm quite sure not everybody came the right way. But like you said, who's going to do the job for this guy? He got paid decent money. He's good. They should be here. They have every right to be here. But we have the right as American citizens to take care of this country first, then let them in. Because then we can provide a better place for them. We can provide more opportunities. Let's get all those people settled in first. Get them cleaned up, get them settled in, and ship out the criminal element, if you can figure it out. But to bring them all in, like you said, they're getting nail fungus, they're getting lice, they're coming in, they're laying on floors. That's and to me, it's child abuse. And the other thing is, and I never understood this, I was about 12 years old. I remember Sally Struthers. She was, for
Save the
38
children.
cents a day,
Yeah.
you can feed this child in
yeah.
Zimbabwe, and there's the mother with 12 children. I don't know about you. I'm 55. I've never been married. I don't have any children because I never felt I was responsible enough. All right, and again, well, that's a cultural thing. You had 8 kids, you can't feed yourself. Maybe have 1 and try to
Okay.
work, and then you're going to send them across
see
the border?
You see it that way when it comes to birth control because it's so accessible here in the United States. When you go outside of this country, there are still the people that believe don't take birth control,
Right.
don't have abortions.
Right.
Abortions are illegal in most third world countries.
Right.
In most Asian countries.
But what I'm saying as a person, first of all, tell you the truth, if I'm at 120 degrees and my girlfriend's got flies flying around her ass, I'm not really turned on that day. You know what I'm saying? Just out of curiosity. And I'm not making fun of the people. But you know what I'm talking about? It's like you said, fix the
What
problem.
makes you think just because it's a third world country they're gonna have flies coming?
No,
flies
I'm
running
going by
on
the
their
commercials
Oh.
that you see on TV.
Oh, okay.
They had one on the other day. It's like they have the little boy and girl going to the water, and this pissed me off. The little boy, they have to walk 3 miles a day to get water and maybe find some food on the way. And they're washing themselves with the water, and they're gonna get sick. And I'm saying, you're watching and filming it. Give them the goddamn
I'm
water.
gonna recommend a movie for you to watch, just so you could see how they think in some countries where education
This is
is
what
not
I need. I need to
fundamental.
learn.
Look at The Fisherman's Daughter on Netflix.
Okay, I heard about that. I didn't watch it, but I've heard
You
about
should
it.
watch it
Okay.
because the importance of education.
This is to me.
All right,
This is an education. I'm learning.
We're talking about movies on Netflix and educational and stuff. these people that are coming over, that are getting the fungus, wherever the hell they're getting it, they're coming over. They're not coming over the right way. Can we agree? No, I have to.
Okay, go ahead with
Definitely
this.
put my foot down with this one.
Go ahead.
They're not.
Oh, she's
coming,
fine. I like
they're
her. She's
not
fine.
coming here the same way.
I know they're not.
And I get it.
But when you're desperate,
Listen, do you
and when you're
understand?
desperate and you don't have the money,
I get it.
and you're a mom or you're a dad,
I-
you're gonna say, you know what? I want my child to have
Right.
a better life,
I
and I'm
understand
going
that.
to do
But
this.
then what about my point where I said you got 4? Like I saw one guy walking across, and the guy he was walking with 4. He had 4 kids. After the second one, okay, listen, I don't mean to be disgusting. After the second one, pull out. Maybe pull out.
And who knows? Maybe they're doing
Okay.
it. Maybe they're doing that. But,
But-
like I said, you do not know.
I was going to say
What-
something
So
about disgusting. Okay.
I'm just gonna make a suggestion
Go ahead.
to put it out there for anybody who's listening and who wants to listen in any country of the world. Get a fucking green card.
But that,
But
okay,
it's
on
not-
her end, it's not that
whoa,
easy.
whoa, whoa! It is very easy. You apply for it. You and N400.
Okay, wait.
Angelo,
Hey,
it is not.
It allows
like
a
I said,
non-U.S. citizen
it is
to
simple
gain
on
residence,
paper.
to live here, to work,
It is
to,
simple
to
on
become
paper.
a
Have
citizen.
You met someone
It's not
recently.
simple. It's my
It's
sister.
not.
My sister-in-law. Perfect example.
She's
Came here from-
Irish. Do
Doesn't
you
matter.
know how much what green
No,
cards
no.
they allocate to certain Spanish Latino countries? It is all allocated behind
China
how
knows
many
how
people.
many? Do you-
how
I
many
don't know.
people?
Okay.
How many people they're going to be able to give green cards to? There's certain countries that they allow more green cards to than others.
Okay.
Do you know that?
But then also probably goes by population.
It's
It
by the
doesn't-
population of the country.
Well, obviously Ireland is going to have more people than the Dominican Republic because it's a little small
But it's not going to have
island.
more people than Mexico.
No, it's not.
My
But
sister-in-law
also,
came here.
Mexico is in the bottom list of how many green cards are able to allocate to the country.
Why
in a
is
year.
that? Is that a fact? We got a big. Is that a
You
fact?
should. I'm not too
I
sure.
don't know.
I'm not
I'm-
too
I
sure.
will-
I'm not
will-
trying to get attack you.
I
I
just-
don't know.
I know I saw
I'm
it
going to pull a
briefly.
Jen Psaki and I'll circle back on that another time.
So you're Jen Psaki.
All right,
Jen
so
Psaki.
I'll circle back
Okay,
on
but
that.
like here's my point. Like I said, I understand that. See now I'm agreeing with you, but I'm agreeing with you, and I'm not being like everyone. Oh look, he's big. Like, no. I have my opinion too. Angela's got a point, but I know her point, and I get it.
I respect her.
I get no. I respect the point too, but I get a point. If I'm desperate and I got kids, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to get those kids what they gotta do. But then again, like I said, I have the responsibility, and I'm here to not have kids. I got hard enough time with this kitten and a Maltese dog upstairs. Never mind kids, but sending them across a border, and to me, that's in a way, that's desperation. So what does that tell you, as a president or a vice president? Don't worry. Okay, now when they get here, what do you do with them? What do you do with them now? You're throwing American citizens out of hotels, homeless hotels, did you know that? They threw out a bunch of homeless people out of hotels to put these people in. And it's costing them $80,000. $80,000 per person for I think it's 4 or 5 months to have them. Why not fix what's here first? I'm not saying I'm not against immigration, not against it at
Exactly.
all.
Exactly.
And the big thing I'm against is if they come with the mother and babies. If you're going to come with the mother and baby, let them bring the father. And they say, Trump separated families. No, you can't put the men with the women. When they get here, unfortunately, the man has to go here. And the women have to go there. Because believe it or not, I don't know how everybody feels here. To me, there are 2 genders. And whatever gender you want to be, that's another whole story. I don't care about that right. No, I don't care about the top now. But if there's 2 genders, and you got to separate them because you don't know what's going to happen. And these children are the blunt of it. That's the problem. You got the children at the blunt of it, and if they're they've only been there 14 days. I can't stay in this goddamn apartment 14 hours. You want to put me on a floor with a silver fucking blanket for 14 days? It's not only. It's bad. They need a destination. They need a place. They need real food. They've been in the fucking desert for 3 goddamn weeks. What are these kids gonna do? It's not their fault. And on her point, it's not as easy as getting a green card. You think, and I'm not making funny, little Pablo or Juanito, he's coming there. You think he knows where to fucking go? He's in Hotuplo in the fucking mountains. He can't go like this. He can't pick up his cell phone and go, green card, Ant. You can't do that.
No, I get it.
That's your
I
point,
understand
right?
Desperation.
Okay,
I
and
understand
I'm not coming
I know
after
that.
you.
I know that.
You know,
I understand the desperation these people feel. I do get it, and my heart bleeds for them. But I have to also feel a respect for my country and my family and the way my family did it and the heritage that we all have to go through it legally the right way.
But Angelo, your family did it how many decades ago?
And that, to my
The process
next
was
point that I was
completely
going to make,
different.
Hold on,
was
and wait a
that
second. And I'm gonna get. I
the
got his
process
back
is
on
the
this one.
same. The timing is different. The
And hold
process
on,
is the same.
how many decades ago? And in all honesty, it was harder then. There was no internet. There was one
There was
immigration.
There
hardly
wasn't
any opportunity
internet.
either.
There wasn't
They
any
had a big
internet.
opportunity.
However,
No, what I'm saying is, it was the population around the globe was so that you didn't know anybody here. No one was bilingual at the time. We're talking. You're right. It's a different time, and every time. But
it's a completely different time. And also, if you migrated from Ireland or Italy, for example, the government also gave you money here. Gave people money to buy houses, to do certain things.
when did they? I don't know
Here?
about this. You have to tell me.
The
about
government
this.
gave my family not a dime to buy a house.
Yeah,
I'm
my
not saying
grandfather
your family,
worked
but
his
look it up,
ass
'cause
off.
I'm
Okay,
speaking facts.
would you come on my show
And he
again?
bought each of his kids
Okay,
a
everybody,
house each.
hold on, because these two, they're good. I like them. They're good. They're good. I like them. I like them.
I wanted
They're
to
good.
say-
I want the facts on that because I know my
I'll
family
get
never
them
got.
for you.
We never got nothing. His
And
family
I'll
never
get
got
them-
nothing.
and
You're
I'll
gonna
get them
circle
for you.
back now. A
I'll
circle back
on
girl.
you.
Sorry, Jen Psaki, she's much
So
prettier.
there's one
She
thing
says it better.
that I want people to hear and people to know, and this is what happens at step 10 when you become.
Oh,
a
we
citizen.
jumped 6 and 7.
I hereby declare an oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjuke all allegiances, fidelity to any other foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty of whom I which have heretofore been a subject of
Time
and a
out.
citizen that
You know
I
what
will
he's,
support
you know what he's
and
saying?
defend
He's saying the oath
the
that every
Constitution
immigrant,
of
every
the United
immigrant who
States
becomes
of America.
a citizen
That's
says.
what I just said. I said
Every-
I'm going to tell you what the
That's
last
the
step
oath.
is. It's the oath.
That's the oath, but that's
How
what you're
many of
already
these
here.
people are going to say that oath?
Hold on, that's the
I
oath after
guarantee
you've
you,
been here for 5
hardly
years.
any of them are going to say that oath.
And I actually
They're going to
never
make them a citizen. They're going to get them in. They're going to become citizens, and they're going to be able to vote. That's all they want.
Right, so even if they say it,
this
doesn't mean
oath-
anything.
This oath will not exist with these people. I'm telling you that now.
Well,
That
it should
was-
exist, but
that's
they don't
what
even
I
know what
was-
it
have
means.
That's what I
have you
respect.
taken
A survey.
a survey and asked, hey, do you guys live by the survey? I feel I'm very American.
Of course you
I
are.
busted my ass since I was 18 years old,
Right.
lived by the rules, worked, paid my taxes.
But like I said, now even this oath, I don't even know all those things, but we just want it to be American. But once again, here's the biggest problem with this whole immigration thing. Country's now flooded with drugs and criminals. There's no and it's not only because of immigration. I'm no offense to you because I know you're a little bit liberal laws and this nonsense with minimalizing crime. Nobody gets arrested. If they do, they get right out. You got drug dealers sending more drugs over. Women and children. You think they're checking all these women and children?
By the way,
No. The borders are being flooded with drugs,
Are you
guns,
aware-
contraband.
are you
name it.
aware that Miami was built solely on drug
The
money?
entire honey, I was around in the 80s.
All right.
I know more
all
about
right,
that than you know.
All right. So
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, and also that building that collapsed
So-
is one of the buildings that was built by cartel money
Don't
coming from
quite
Colombia.
think Miami was built on drug money. Miami
Oh,
was
no.
Do your
No, no, no.
research. It was. Do
Miami,
your research.
Miami,
It was.
Miami.
The
Art
bus-
Deco Miami.
No,
Was
Do
built
your
business,
on drug money.
research.
business district Miami and Hotel Miami, Art Deco
By
Miami.
the way, no major banks opened in Miami. The first banks to open in Miami were banks funded by drug money.
And it couldn't happen without it. Now, okay.
I'll
but
have to look that up.
No, she's actually
We'll
right.
circle back. We'll circle
I'm gonna
back.
No,
I'm gonna-
Ish.
I'm
Entire
sure Miami has a history.
Miami back in the 70s wasn't too highfalutin. It was a good thing, and nothing against. It was a very big
It was
Jew.
all swampland.
Yeah, but
Nobody
talking
wanted to
Miami-
build on it. Nobody wanted to.
No, but they had a-
Nobody wanted
they
to invest in it.
No, they had a lot of. There was a Jewish vacation place. Miami was big for the Jewish people. Loved the Jewish American people,
Note
and it
to
was their
self history
place.
of Miami for next door.
Miami, every
Circle
hotel,
back.
all the
Circle back.
banks were built on drug money.
I know they were.
But now here's the problem. And here's the problem and the good thing. Though it was built on drug money, it benefited America. Some of the money went back to Colombia, but most of it stayed here. That's a bad thing because I'm saying
drug money, in the end of the day, still benefits America some way or somehow.
Not coming
That-
across the Mexican border. That shit goes all. I had friends in both sides of the business, the legal end and the other end. It all goes back.
You're all aware
and
of how
more.
Scarface ended, right?
Yeah.
We are aware of this.
I
right?
always say no one watches
That's
no one watches the end of the
It
movie.
benefits America, but
Yeah, it's like The Godfather.
That's talking out of our
Nobody
asses.
watches the end of the movie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, we're done. We're done.
No, that's applause. A round of applause.
I just gotta.
But like you said, the drug money from then, it's bad, but it created a boom. The drug money and the drugs that are coming out of fentanyl. Like I said, they just seized enough fentanyl that can kill every American 40 times over. And it's just, listen, this isn't just from Miami or the cartels of Mexico. This is created by Big Pharma, which they're probably going to be whacked now for this. Big Pharma drugs up the nation. They started out in the early 90s. I was a fireman, I got hurt. First drug they give you when you get hurt, Vicodin.
Hold on. Right now, what's the number one drug that's being circulated among young people?
I'm not sure.
Oxy?
It's not even there no more.
Nope.
It's not even there. It's actually fentanyl in the
And
pill oxy form.
That's not the cartel that makes it.
Oh yes, it is. Oxy, if you've watched, I'll get you documentaries to watch. Big Pharma over the past 5 years has been attacked. As a fireman, we got hurt, we get injured. If you get hurt, you can't get oxycodone. A doctor will write
It's
it.
funny how
They
we started
won't.
talking about immigration in the group.
They won't. It's okay. Listen,
They're bringing it with
this is what the Jimmy P show is all about. We shoot from the hip. None of this is scripted. We just come up with a topic and we go. Here's the thing. My brother's a retired pharmacist. He worked for Merck and he worked for Novartis. I watched a big documentary. I made my brother know. My brother goes, I didn't even know that. Oxycodone, you can't even get. The oxycodone that's flooding the streets now is 100% fentanyl. They're not real pills. They stopped. Matter of fact, Johnson & Johnson today in the New York Post paid out billions of dollars in penalties, and they're not producing oxycodone no more. If you get hurt and you try to get oxy, like I said, the doctor will write it. Pharmacists won't fill it. Some of them will, and you got to show a laundry list of all your injuries. But if you just hurt your back, you can't get it no more. So what they do is they turn, and it's done. It's not like the 80s where a couple of guys, I'm not saying Angelo, but guys like Angelo and his friends were in a little apartment somewhere on St. Peter's Avenue, mixing up stuff, packing it, and get. I'm not saying that. It's not like that no more.
It was all prepackaged in the day. I gotta be honest with you.
Now it's actual real pharmacists, real chemists in Mexico. The fentanyl comes from China. Now, when I was a kid, I'm 55. When I was a kid, 18, 19, they used to call it China white. Heroin's actually brown. Choco Fan, Spanish. Choco Fan, fine chocolate. That's what it was called, Choco Fan. And it came from Afghanistan. Back then, heroin was $400,000 a kilo.
You're very familiarized with drugs. I am not.
Oh, I'm going to give you a little education because I
and
heard.
I'm the Latino one.
No,
and I'm not-
oh, that's racist against Latino. You heard what she said? My Latino brothers, sisters, get it.
I am not very familiar with drugs.
I happen to know because Angelo told me. Anyway.
And now the guinea in the room takes a fall.
Yeah, the grease,
All right.
the grease boat did
Greaseball
it.
takes a-
Anyway, the dope. Look at this. I'm supposed to have my phone on silent.
Wow.
Okay.
I had to
All
turn
right.
my phone
So-
off.
So like I was saying, back then, dope has always been brown. And it came mostly from Afghanistan, China, Vietnam. But when it came from China, there was a thing called China white. Now, dope, brown dope was shooter's dope. And the other one was sniffer's dope. Because then you could take the sniffer's dope, cut it a million times, and then your profit margin comes in. But you had to know how to use it. If you touch fentanyl, shit can kill you. Like I said, we were doing immigration, but this is part of the problem. The fentanyl that's coming into this country. It's like, so the thing amongst the kids, they're doing the pills, crushing the pills, snorting the pills, popping the pills. They're not taking opiates. All the drug countries, they're not taking oxycodone. They think it's oxycodone. The big difference between thinking what you're taking and what you're actually taking. All the drug companies in the past 5 years have gotten crushed. And I said, but they created the problem. Back in the 90s, I got hurt. First pill they gave me, Vicodin. I have several surgeries on my neck and my back. I'm totally fused. 20 years later, Vicodin didn't work. So then they moved me up to, it was called Oxycontin. It was the time-release oxycodone, which is the problem now, which is oxycodone pure. Then it went to and so it was time-release. Then it went to Percocet. So they went from the smallest thing, which is Vicodin, which is not oxycodone, it's another hydrocodone.
Hydrocodone.
Hydrocodone. So it's a little bit weaker, but it's still an opiate form. So they ran with that about 5 years. That became a problem. Oh, kids are addicted to that. Bang, OxyContin. Hillbilly heroin, OxyContin. It's a time release drug. So if you took 80 milligrams, it got released over time. They were sniffing it all at one shot, overdosing because you can't take all that. So they made it into you crush the pill, turn it into a gel. That's a problem. What does Big Pharma do? Okay, if you take too much, we'll give you Percocet. Problem with Percocet, they stop, it was Tylenol and oxycodone. All right, you take too many, oxycodone doesn't do nothing. It gets rid of the pain. The Tylenol blows your liver up. Okay, we're blowing people's liver up. Can't do that. Let's just give them pure oxycodone. Now you got a fucking problem. Because the Percocet pills are this big. Oxycodone pills this big. Psychologically, you crush one, you snort one of those little babies, and what happens? It's a little one. You think you're used to taking this big pill. The big pharma fucked this country up. So now they all get sued. A couple of people, their family members died.
So who's the enemy, Big Pharma or the drug dealers?
Oh, in all honesty, Big Pharma, the drug dealers, and the way they're thinking about it, they're trying. Listen.
So that's the biggest enemy is in the country. Not
Yes,
the ones coming across
but the
border.
problem is they created the market, but they're filling the market now.
What you have
They
coming
made their
across-
money already, Big Pharma. So now they're filling the void. And what are we doing? We're letting them walk across the border with it. You got the wall. It doesn't get in here as easy.
And if we're letting them walk across the border with it, America is benefiting
They're
from
walking
it some
across
way,
the border
somewhere,
with.
somehow.
They're
No,
walking across
no,
the border with
nobody's
the fentanyl. Wait, wait,
benefited
wait.
from it.
They're
Nobody
walking across the border
benefited
with the fentanyl. What they're doing with the fentanyl is they're lacing the legal marijuana now.
Everything.
They're putting it in the cocaine. They're putting
In
it
the
in
co-
so this is now
perfect
this is
amount.
the next problem.
You know
Is
what the
that-
monkey is? You're familiar with the monkey. You know what the monkey is? Monkey's a term from the 60s and 70s. Brian, our producer, you got to come in and take a picture. Let everybody see what you look like. Sexy Brian over there. But the monkey is a term. George Michael made a song. Don't do it. Don't get the monkey off your back. The monkey is the itch. It's called the heroin itch. And it usually comes from
Some people
fentanyl.
singing about heroin.
Okay, and it kind of comes in, and it comes in mostly from fentanyl. Fentanyl.
I
is
was
what
born in
gives you the itch.
1980. I don't know.
Oh, we were born in '66. But here's the problem: the monkey is what they get. The monkey gets on your back; it won't get off your back, and that's what. And it doesn't really come from the opiate part of heroin. It usually comes from fentanyl or another opium derivative. And what they're doing is, like Angela said, these aren't guys in their basements mixing and packing shit anymore. These are chemists, real chemists, real farmers that know what they're doing. They soak the marijuana just enough where you don't really feel the effect of the fentanyl, but it's got a physical addiction. Cocaine's psychologically addicting. A lot of people think it's physical. It's not. The only thing that's really addicting physically is opiates. So now it's on the marijuana. My goddaughter said
And
people coming in,
the opiates came to this country when we went to Vietnam.
they
with
came through the caskets. Yeah.
with the soldiers.
Right. Okay. But that's done over with, and it's never stopped coming in. But the rate is coming in now, and not only that, the worst part is I lived in California for a while. Brian was out there. We had a business out there. It's not really here in New York, but it's yet methamphetamine. A fucking drug is ridiculous. What it does to people, it just makes them lose their mind. Now they got super meth, and guess what super meth is laced with? Now methamphetamine is physically addicting. I think I'm not 100% sure. I think it's physically addicting. They mix it now with the fentanyl, not with oxycodone, not with opium, with fentanyl, and it's a big fucking problem. It's destroying Arizona, it's destroying the Southwest, and it's working its way up to here. And this is where the immigration problem comes in. What if we just did this, Janelle? We do this. I know you said it takes 10 years to get here. It's too long. Okay, let's listen to. They say that Big Papa says Big Papa. They're calling, and the kid and the dog call me the daddy. But I'm Big Papa. Listen
I
to
think
Big
she's
Papa
drunk.
for a minute.
She fell asleep drunk.
Yeah, you think she's okay? Well, she didn't drink that much,
No,
right?
it was a sip. Don't worry about
It
it.
was
No,
just
she
a
wasn't.
sip.
She just.
Oh, she was running front.
She just likes to
Everybody,
like the
Penelope,
warm
Penelope, everybody. This is what happens when
like-
you're starting out in business. You can't help this. Jeanette got my actually Angela. That was your drink.
That was
Jeanette,
my drink.
Angela.
Well,
And now the APC's gonna
Jeanette's
come
got it.
take my kitten. She's not drunk. She just licked an ice cube. Everybody relax. Right away. I'm gonna have Peter outside banging on my fucking windows now. That's all I need. And then I'll do. I'll walk out there and eat a piece of Kentucky Fried Chicken. I love Kentucky Fried Chicken. Anyway, we got to get back to Angelo. But this is the problem. What do? We got all the drugs coming to court. What do you got? Your notebook. Go into the notebook. What do you got for me?
Well, I don't need the notebook for this. What do? We we enact Title 42. We send back as many as we can the minute they come in. We leave them on the other side. They properly get the paperwork they need, and then they come over when everything is legally done.
Okay, now
as
what do you do
far
with the-
as far as the actual issue there, what needs to be done is they need to put more border patrol. This horrible charade photo op visit that Useless did when she went was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, she did it 700 miles
She
away
went
from where the problem
so
is.
far away from the area that is affected, and I can tell you what that is.
700 miles.
No, I know it's 700.
It's from Boston to Washington,
Oh,
D.C.
okay.
That's the distance.
It's a 34,000 square mile around the Rio Grande Valley.
Right.
All right.
Came prepared, my man.
It is Galveston County today,
Okay.
400 miles from the Texas border. Galveston's an island. All right. All right.
Right.
They just declared a state of emergency because the amount of drugs that are in that area right now. Also, the influx of immigrants and people that they cannot house. They are on their streets. They just declared a state of emergency. What needs to be
Well, now,
done?
what do you do
So,
with, what do you
so
do
wait.
with those people?
Let's not wait 10 years to come. Let's wait 10 years. Wait as long as it has to wait
Shut
to
the
properly
borders.
get into this country. I'm sorry that you're leaving, that there's a problem. I'm sorry of the violence and the crime, and you're desperate to get out. But you have to get here legally because it's going to serve no one.
Then we can't help you.
That I can't help you now when the state that the country you're going to is in a state of emergency because everyone is running over the border to get here. And they're running over with disease. They're not being checked. Not one
Well, they spread
person
COVID
that has
rapidly.
come over this border has been given a test for COVID. And I can actually prove that. And I can show that to you. Because they actually said, do not give the COVID test. We do not need to do it.
Do you
We
know
have
how
to
many?
house
Do
them.
you
We
know
have
how
to
many
house them.
Americans right now? You know how hard it's been for me to hire for my 2 positions that I have available at my job?
Why is that?
Because Americans right now do not want to work because
Why?
they feel they get more on unemployment
Nothing
than
to
what
do.
they do.
Absolutely
hold on.
nothing to
but
do with
if
this
I
issue.
was to go to Home Depot right now, do you know how many people will be lined up for you to pick them up to work?
But plywood's
Emma-
also $100 a sheet instead of $20 a sheet. Yes,
Wait,
there's a
wait,
lot
wait.
of them willing to work.
Who are you talking about? The guys outside standing in the parking lot?
Waiting to
All
work
right.
because
they're
they're
not
here
working
illegally.
legally.
But they came to this country illegally, and all they want to do is come and work to
I get
feed
it.
their family.
Get a visa. Buy a visa. How
Because
about that?
it's that
Apply
simple.
for. It is that
For
simple.
you,
not
you
that
see
simple,
it
but how
that
do you-
easy. You see it easy because you're already
Okay,
here in
Jeanette,
this
what happens
country.
what happens when they don't get picked up?
They don't work for that day.
How do they eat?
They. By the way,
How do they eat?
you're judging. You're judging
No,
that
no,
you think that
I'm not
whatever
judging.
money they're getting, they're spending. These people save the last penny they
No, wait,
have.
how am I judging?
No, he's
I'm
not
I'm not
judging.
judging. I'm saying, how do they eat? I didn't say that
Because they
buying
know that
drugs,
if they
alcohol.
they know if they have a job yesterday or the day before, they're gonna save that money. They send I don't know how much money to their families back wherever they're from, and they're like, okay, this is
That's
my
also a
money.
problem, though.
Yeah, so they're working.
You gotta keep.
making
You're making the
American
money here.
sending it back
You
to
gotta
a third world
regenerate the
country.
money in the country to keep the country going.
There's my
To
point.
But
help them get them
they
over.
regenerated though. They regenerated because they have to spend money to live here.
But wait a second. You just said they're spending most of their money sending it back.
Because they have to feed their family.
I understand
so
that.
if the process was easier, their
Well,
families
but
will
you-
be here,
but
so
you-
the money will stay in the
But you
United
didn't
States.
answer my question. There's 30 guys out there. I see them all the time, and I hire them if I need them or anything. But at a third, let's say that the little weak guy, he don't get picked. 3, 4. How's he eat? How does he eat? What does he do?
Because he knows that maybe he'll get one job a week.
Oh,
And that
and
one
what-
job a week, that's
what
the,
if he's-
that's the
what-
money he has to hold on
But
to.
is that enough for him to live? Is that any way to live?
It's not. Do you think the minimum wage that we pay in this country is enough for anyone to live?
No,
but you
but
know
if-
how to survive on it.
No. Have you lived off the minimum wage ever? And
Yes, I
survived
did.
off of it? Were you able to take care of yourself? Did you live home?
No, I have not lived at home since I was 17 years old.
Okay, because
I've
minimum.
worked my ass off since
This
I
I
was
know
17
about.
years old.
This I
But
know.
minimum
Since-
wage jobs should be, and I always said this, we were looking into doing a franchise business years ago. I don't think those jobs should go to anybody but students and elderly retired people, so companies don't have to pay insurance. This way, those people can live off of that money because they have.
'Cause they live at home with
They
their
live at
parents.
home or they have a pension.
Oh, right, right.
Raise the minimum wage from 13 to 12 to 15. All it does is crush the companies that are hiring the jobs. Now they're going to go automated. So now you're losing more jobs. Minimum wage, these people that come across like you said, that they got to get work, and like you said, no one's gonna do that. I don't think they should get $2 an hour picking the field. They should get more, but you're right. Most American people won't do it. Unemployment's destroying the country because of the supplement. My brother-in-law
But then
runs a
it
bus
also
company.
makes you, it
People
also
don't
makes
want to
you,
work.
It also makes you think because the people that are collecting the unemployment are taking that money and putting it back into the economy,
Into the system.
into the system.
But where does it come from,
then
though?
you have to sit down and think.
Okay,
You know
but-
what? We're not paying.
But where did they
our
get that money? But where did they
citizens
get the
enough.
unemployment money from? Someone's tax dollars. So someone has to be working to generate the capital to pay the people on unemployment and also to help pay these people to get, whether it's 9 or 10 years, to get them over. Money, believe it or not, and believe me, I am not breaking your horns. It doesn't fucking just appear. And that's what no one understands. Like I did with my nephew. I call my nephew Minnie's husband, with his grandfather. I'm not a mean guy. I want these citizens. I want them to have what we have. We just can't fucking afford it right now. If you got one kid, let's say you had 5 kids right now. You just decide you and Angela got a baby. You got 5 kids, but my man's good looking. Leave him alone. No, anyway.
My gay Republican here? No, absolutely.
Listen, we didn't have to go there. We didn't have to. Anyway, okay. Now the world knows. Nobody knows. Anyway.
I read that badge proudly.
I think
man.
Angelo came out of the closet.
I just want so
There was no
all
closet,
this-
it was a
all
box.
This, all this back talk.
No, but what I'm saying-
what this, everyone that's coming over the border now, everyone that we're accepting in because of they said,
Someone has to
come
pay
on,
for it.
come in since January, since inauguration, come on in. Come in, we want, and then they backtrack
Monty Hall,
on that.
come on
They
down.
backtrack on that.
Oh, no, that's-
don't come
Yeah,
now, don't come. So the people that are coming over, we are now going to give them a SNAP card. Here you go. Here's a SNAP card for you.
You didn't get that.
And
when
we're
you
going
came
to give
over?
you this money, and we're going to give you that many. They just put 80 rooms in a hotel up.
Yeah.
I think it was. I want to say San Diego, not San Diego. I forget where. So now they're giving money away to
It
them.
was San Francisco.
They're not even on any path to become a citizen, and we are already giving them
Plus free medical.
money and medical
Well, we
and
should
food.
find them. I think the
Close.
right thing to do is
Now
find
you,
them jobs. Find them jobs. that
your
nobody
job,
else is doing.
Okay,
your
wait.
job is
Wait,
paying
wait.
that.
The way you, I get your point. You think the best thing to do is to find them jobs.
That
Okay.
no one else wants to do.
Well,
That no-
but then, now wait a second. Now, in a way, that's not racist. That's a little bit not nice. Oh, we're going to give you the shit job cleaning the
Right.
toilet bowls. Why? Why can't they have your job?
They came in here illegally. So you know what? Work your way from the bottom and show
I love
and
you.
prove yourself.
But-
Just
okay.
like everyone else.
But once you said-
everyone else
So you're basically reprimanding them.
is not reprimanding them.
I feel.
How many people do come in here illegally and do the jobs that nobody else wants to do?
They do.
And
Yeah.
they do them. And they build a life on it.
Because
Right.
they can't get hired legally because they're not
They don't have a
citizens.
green card.
You have a,
But if you were to put every job
But once
in
again-
the United States legally, do you know how companies would go out of business because they couldn't afford to pay the people that work for them? The
I don't
jobs
think
that
that's
they
true.
do.
No, I don't. That's,
I don't think that's true.
We'd have to get the
Because-
numbers on.
Look at-
Not. We'd
get
have to
the
get the
numbers.
numbers.
There
We
are
will.
tiers
Let's
to
circle.
My man will get the
There are
numbers.
tiers to
Circle
employment.
Jen, circle back. Get
on
me
that
those
one.
numbers.
Now I'm called Jen. I had better names in the past.
Circle back on that one because
There are tiers
She's
to
got nicer
employment,
boobies
though.
than you, Jen.
Tiers to
Okay.
employment go by education. Tiers to employment go by your knowledge, and tiers to employment go by what you know and job experience. Yeah, there are going to be jobs that some people are not qualified for, but we can't say we're going to tell you you can't have a good job because you're not a citizen.
Well, you just made a clear point. We should find them jobs. What? How
They
about?
should work for
How
what
about
they're
we
getting.
find? How about we find our citizens that do want to work
Homes.
first?
For the homeless.
How about we find the American citizens
homeless is
first?
homeless is a whole
Not a-
other subject.
we'll
work on that.
There's
Quick.
some homeless people that choose to be homeless.
How
There
about
are.
clean
There's
up your own-
90%
clean up
of mental
your own
disabilities.
backyard first.
And those people
Clean
should
up
be
your own
taken care
backyard
of.
first.
And they go, well, you can't just take them off. Nothing. You know what? We'll leave the homeless topic. You'll do homeless
But-
with me.
We'll do homeless.
You'll do homeless
I'll
with
do
me.
homeless.
We'll go do homeless. You got. You said you're gonna do it.
We
We're
were
gonna do
both
homeless.
we were both at one point in our lives. We were both in a spot where we were with people, and then that ended, and we had nowhere to go at some point.
Oh, you could have came here yourself.
Well, I really,
You can come here
I
now,
always had
too.
somewhere to go,
Yeah.
but I was,
Yeah.
being dramatic. But we know what
Drama
it's like
queen.
to be in
Look ahead.
that, to be, you can be this close to being homeless, this close. Note that my thumb and my pointer finger are close together when I
And,
do that.
and what are the majority of homeless people? Veterans, which we should be taking way better care of them instead of
Right.
sending this money to other.
So explain to me
to
why the
other
government's
parts of
not
the
doing
world.
that.
I don't think we should be
Pay for
sending
immigrants.
any money anywhere. Keep it home.
That I agree.
What was his name? Taft? I'm not sure. Brian, isolationist in 1919, right after World War II. Was that Taft? We went into isolationism. I think it was right after or right be. It was after World War One, and I think that was Taft, who was also a criminal.
Correct.
I think he got busted with something. But I think we need 10 years of isolationism. Except you got to keep trade up to some point. And right now, just see what. Get off the subject for a minute. Nike. We're a country by China for China. We're just. It's another whole topic. We got a lot of things to talk about. This country is the self-hating that goes on in this country is disgusting. And like you said, these immigrants want to come here so bad. Maybe our American people should see them and say, look what they're going through. They're getting the foot fungus. They're getting the disease. They're getting coming here, and you want to bash it. You want to put an activist athlete
And
over
I
your
see-
head,
and
which is
hold on.
very annoying.
My father used to work 7 days a week
Okay.
to make sure he was making our lives simpler.
Right.
I grew up seeing my father working 7 days a week, 13 hours a day, 15 hours a day to give us the life that we deserve. So no, not every immigrant that comes in here is lazy or wants to live off the government. They want to come here and
No,
bust
no
their
one
ass.
said that.
Right.
But I didn't say that. I said I want them to come and make it. I said just right now we don't have the resources. We really can't afford it. I mean, the money's got to come from
We're
somewhere.
taking away from our
Like
own.
you said, okay, let's take the money. Like you said, they were doing that stupid study thing in Pakistan. They're sending to all those countries over the Middle East. They sent the billions, millions. Keep that money here. But let's take that money. We'll put some towards immigration. But let's, like you said, the veterans. Let's build them a place in Arizona. And like the homeless people, most of the homeless, I'm not sure, they have mental disabilities.
So
I
build
feel
mental
bad for them.
hospital and mental care
Put
for
them in, and then it was like, oh, you can't just, they have the right to be. No, sorry, you don't have the right to be in San Francisco, pissing and shitting in front of somebody's fucking store and squatting there. You don't have that right. Don't give me this free America bullshit. You don't have that right. If you can't, what is wrong? Why are you doing that? Why are you living? All right, I got a bad time, like you said, that's an American citizen. Or if it's not, let's try to help that person. They're here, let's turn them into a dreamer if they're not an American citizen. Turn them into a dreamer, let's help that person. Let's get them off the street. Let's clean up San Francisco. Because I had a girlfriend out in Pleasanton years ago, and San Francisco was gorgeous. It's a fucking shithole right now. So let's take all that money and let's rope it in. Let's get those people. Let's go to Austin, Texas. Brian's son just moved there. Let's clean the homeless up there. Manhattan. Let's clean it up. Then, like Angelo said, fix that pressure gauge. Boom. Now it's a few years down the line. They got a little shot at getting that green card. Let's do it the right way. Let's do it the way your dad did it. Do it the way your mom did it. Your grandfather. Nothing wrong with that. But I understand your point, where you get so desperate. So what do these people do? So now maybe they're in that country, something what we may have to do here. Our country is turning into a cesspool. We're going to have our own problems here, fighting amongst each other. Purpose of the show is, like I said, we don't have the same ideas, but right now we're getting along fine. Because I'm learning what you're teaching me some things I don't know, you're learning some things I know. That kind of cut the power tight. We're very hot. I know that. Anyway, but the whole thing is,
And I actually need to use the bathroom.
and you need to use the bathroom. Okay. Well, actually, we're gonna wrap this up.
I'm gonna wrap up with two.
You got my cat drunk. We got to make sure she's okay.
Point six.
Go ahead.
I'm observing her. I'm like,
She's okay.
Point six. Becoming a citizen is get fingerprinted. All right. I'm just
But that's racist.
Just putting this out there.
I'm just joking.
Just putting it out there, and I want to just say.
but in any government thing, they take your fingerprints.
Right.
You,
Point six.
Yeah, but not to vote.
Point
Not to vote
eight.
for president.
Point
But that's
eight.
another show.
Point eight.
Point
is
eight.
taking English and civics test. English
Yes.
language and civics test.
Yes,
That's
English
before
should be
becoming a
mandatory.
citizen. That's
what I just
not
said
to
that.
get a green
I-
card.
I just said that.
All right, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, everybody. Once
And I need
again,
to go to the bathroom.
this is Jeanette Cena. We're going to let her go. Angelo Mackie and my man Brian. Brian, run into the camera quick while Janet goes to the bathroom, Jeanette. And Jim Presimoni with the, I was going to call it the Jimmy P Show. It's Common Ground with Jimmy P. Everybody, we all love each other.
Yes.
And we're going to have more shows. Give big group hug. Look at this.
There we go. We got a group.
I was going to say have peace, but I didn't say that. Peace. There you go. And that's my man Brian Williams. And we got Penelope.
We got Penelope.
Good night. This is our first legit
Good
show.
night.
It will be on YouTube.
What?
Good night, everybody. Thank you. God
Good
bless.
night.
All right.
Where is the bathroom?
On my